after I made the last video, I had a few questions about how those calculations actually work out, and understand it was a little bit confusing. I was using grams, using calories, using a few other things that we have to interchange. And so I thought we'd do a little tutorial on how to actually get this number. So the first thing we'll talk about, we're gonna give an example of a 150-pound person, okay? So if we have a 150-pound person and we want 15 calories per pound, that's 2,250 calories, okay? So that's our baseline. So you can make that calculation, whatever your weight is, times 15 calories, we'll get to that, okay? So that's number one. Step number two is how many calories per gram of protein, carbohydrate, fat. So protein has 4 calories per gram, carbohydrates is 4 calories per gram, and fat has 9 calories per gram. I apologize if this seems like a high school algebra class. I don't know how to do it without bringing some math into it. So if you say, man, that's too much, I don't care about that, I'm not gonna do it, that's fine. But just so if people wanna be able to follow along and actually see how this actually works in real life, this is how it works. And it doesn't work exactly perfectly. We have to modify a few things depending on exactly the weight. And all we really wanna do is get close. We don't wanna focus on the exact details because your body's not gonna care if you get 2,245 calories or 2,250 or 60 calories. We just want to get close. We just want to get in the ballpark so we give the body the food that it needs, okay? So here's 225 calories, 2,250 calories, sorry. We want protein, we want about 1.2 to 1.5 kilograms. So that means your kilogram weight, which if we do 150 times 2.2, that's 68. So divide 2.2, that's 68. This is kilograms, okay? So if we multiply 1.5 grams times 68 kilograms, we're gonna get about 102 grams of protein we want per day. So 102 grams protein per day. Now I increased that up to about 1.5 because 1.2, which is what we talked about last episode, 1.2 doesn't give us quite enough protein for a 150-pound person. So if we continue with the calculation, 102 grams per day, if we have 4 calories per gram, we're gonna get to about 400 calories, 408 calories, and that actually only gets us about 20% of our caloric intake from protein. So it's still a little bit low, but it's probably reasonable, okay? So 20% from protein, that equates to 408 calories, okay? So that's our first calculation. After that calculation, we'll use other things to base off it. So another separate calculation, we do fat, right? We want about 10% fat. This is probably a little bit low, probably 15, maybe even 20% fat's okay, especially in someone who's not morbidly obese. But fat, we want 10% fat. So 10% of our 220, can't get this right, 2,250 calories, which give us 225 calories, okay? So if we are only gonna intake 225 calories from fat, we have to divide that by 9 because that's how many calories per gram of fat. That gives us 25 grams of fat, okay? So that means, so far we have the protein at 400 calories, we have the fat at 225 calories, and the rest of it has to be made up by carbohydrates. We really need carbohydrates in the recovery process as well as protein. The next step is we want about 70% of our calories from carbs. For about 1,500 calories from carbohydrates, we divide it by 4 because that's how many calories per gram, and we get 393 grams of carbohydrates. When we bring this all together, and hope this makes some sense, I know again it's a lot of math, and I'm trying to break it down in the simplest parts and then bring it all together. So if we bring it all together, we're gonna look at carbs. We want 393 grams of carbs right here, and we multiply that by 4, we have 1,572 calories of carbohydrates we want each day. We want 102 grams per day of protein. We multiply that by 4 because that's how many calories per gram, and we get 408 calories. We want 408 calories of protein. So you can either say, I want 102 grams of protein per day, or I want 408 calories per day, depending on which makes it easiest to translate. Usually grams do because that's how we think about protein. And then lastly, fats. We want 25 grams of fat. 25 grams of fat times 9 gives us 225 calories. And so when we bring this all together, we get 2,205 calories. So not quite what we are going for at 2,250 calories, but pretty close. And again, that's all we really need. We need pretty close. to get the nutrients in our body so we can heal. You may have to go over this a few times in your head. You may have to start and stop this video to get a general idea where you're supposed to be as far as your weight and as far as what we want to put in our body. Again, maybe a little bit more fat, maybe probably not any more protein, maybe a little bit, probably not any more carbs. And so you can adjust it. And again, some people are more sensitive to others. Some people need more carbs. Some type people need more protein. So you can adjust it for what makes sense for you, but this is the general idea, the general trend. Again, I hope it helps. And please leave comments, questions, thoughts. I know it's a little hard to like all this math, but try to press the like if you can. And we appreciate your time, and we'll see you next time.